Title: Humanity's Titan-class ship encounters aliens for the first time. The year was 2253, and humanity had taken its first tentative steps into the stars. After decades of technological innovation and tireless effort, the United Earth government had finally launched the UES Titan, the first true Titan-class ship capable of interstellar travel. It was an engineering marvel, towering over 3,000 meters in length, equipped with hyperdrive engines, quantum shields, and a vast array of weapons, enough to command respect in the most hostile of star systems. Captain John Harper stood at the helm of the Titan, his eyes scanning the vast expanse of space beyond. For all the ship's might, it was a peaceful mission, exploration and diplomacy. Humanity was still young among the stars, and they were determined to leave a good impression. The Titan was on a mission to make contact with alien civilizations, to prove that humans were not just a species of violence and war, but capable of peace and cooperation. As they ventured deeper into the galaxy, the crew had been briefed on various potential threats, from the hostile Zeltari to the enigmatic Voidwalkers, but no one had anticipated the true scale of what lay ahead. The first contact with alien life had always been a matter of speculation, but today, it would become a reality. "Captain," Lieutenant Maria Alvarado called from the communications deck, her voice tense, "we've detected an unidentified vessel approaching." Harper turned to face her, eyes narrowing. "How far?" 2 light years. "It's huge, far larger than anything we've encountered before." The bridge fell silent. The Titan was massive, but this unknown vessel? The very idea of something larger sent a ripple of concern through the crew. "Anything on the scanners?" Harper asked, his voice steady. "Unknown technology. It doesn't appear to be broadcasting any signals, but it's definitely making its way toward us," Lieutenant Alvarado responded. "It's like nothing we've ever seen, beyond even our most advanced recon probes." A chill ran down Harper's spine. Humanity had sent out probes, scout ships, and messages into the void for decades, but never had they encountered something like this. His mind raced, processing the possibilities. Could it be an advanced alien race? Or perhaps a rival species? "Steady, everyone," Captain Harper said. "Prepare for first contact protocol. We don't know who or what we're dealing with." The Titan slowed its approach, and the alien ship came into view on the visual screens. It was colossal, resembling a massive black monolith, its edges lined with intricate, glowing symbols. There were no visible weapons, but its size alone made the Titan look like an ant in comparison. For a moment, everything was still. Then, the alien ship spoke. A low hum echoed throughout the Titan's communication channels, as if the ship itself was attempting to speak. The sound was unintelligible, yet somehow, it reverberated deep within the hearts of the crew. "We are the Noctiler," a voice finally boomed, its tone rich and ancient. It was a language far beyond human understanding, yet it carried an undeniable weight of authority. "We come to observe. You are the humans?" Captain Harper swallowed, his heart pounding. The Noctiler, the name alone sounded like a force of nature. He cleared his throat and spoke into the communicator. "We are humans." "Yes," Harper said, his voice steady but with a tinge of uncertainty. "We come in peace. We are explorers, seeking to make contact with other life forms." The Noctiler ship remained silent for a moment, the hum of its engines like a constant, unnerving presence. Then the voice returned, this time with a note of curiosity. "Peace?" the voice asked, almost as if the concept were foreign to them. "Your species, though young, has a long history of conflict. How do you define peace? Humans?" Harper's eyes narrowed. The Noctiler had studied them, perhaps more thoroughly than they realized. He could hear the unspoken challenge in their words, an assessment, a test. "We define peace by our actions," Harper said, "by our ability to come together, to set aside our differences for the greater good. We are a species capable of great destruction, yes, but we are also capable of building, of creating, of forging alliances. We are here to prove that we seek more than war. We seek understanding." The hum of the alien ship intensified for a moment, almost like the ship itself was considering Harper's words. Then, the voice responded. "We have observed many species, and most are like children, too quick to fight, too slow to listen. You are different. We will allow you to live, to explore, but know this: Human, the galaxy is vast, and its dangers are far greater than you can comprehend. Captain Harper felt a wave of tension ripple through the crew. The Noctiler were not threatening, but their words carried an unmistakable weight. There was something ancient in their voice, something beyond mere intelligence. They had seen the rise and fall of countless civilizations, and they had no patience for foolishness. "Thank you," Harper said, his voice calm but firm. "We will tread carefully, but know this: humanity is not defined by its past, but by the choices it makes moving forward. We are capable of greatness." The Noctiler ship lingered for a moment longer before the hum softened, and the massive vessel turned, slowly retreating into the stars. The Titan remained still, watching as the alien ship disappeared into the darkness. The crew remained silent, each person processing what had just transpired. Humanity had survived its first true encounter with an alien species, and the outcome had been peaceful, for now. But the words of the Noctiler echoed in Harper's mind. The galaxy was vast, and humanity was still only beginning to understand its place in it. The road ahead would be fraught with challenges, but humanity had proven one thing: they were capable of more than just war. They were capable of peace. They were capable of greatness. And no matter the dangers that lay ahead, they would face them together, united in their pursuit of the unknown. Title: Humanity's Titan-class ship encounters aliens for the first time, Part 2. The Titan slowly resumed its course, but the moment the Noctiler ship disappeared from view, a sense of unease settled over the crew. Their first contact with an alien species had been peaceful, yes, but the Noctiler's warning hung in the air like a storm cloud, waiting to burst. Captain Harper stood at the bridge, his hands clasped behind his back, staring out at the endless stars ahead. The Noctiler had given them a gift: time, survival, a chance to prove humanity's worth, but they had also given a warning, a chilling one. The galaxy was vast, and humanity was still just a child in the cosmos, with more dangers than they could imagine waiting in the darkness. "Captain," Lieutenant Alvarado spoke, breaking the silence, "we've received a data packet from the Noctiler ship. It's encrypted." Harper turned to her, his brow furrowed. "Encrypted? What does it contain?" "I'm not sure," Alvarado said, her fingers flying over her console, "but the encryption pattern is unlike anything we've encountered. I'll need time to crack it." Harper nodded. "Take the time you need, whatever it is. It could be important." The crew worked through the night, analyzing the data packet. There were no obvious threats, no signs of sabotage, but the encryption was a puzzle, intricate, layered, and sophisticated. 4 hours, Alvarado and her team worked tirelessly, decoding and breaking down each layer. It was unlike anything humanity had ever seen, and it became increasingly clear that the Noctiler were not just warning them about the dangers of the galaxy, they were offering something more. After what felt like an eternity, Lieutenant Alvarado's voice broke through the tension. "I've got it," she said, her voice filled with a mixture of relief and disbelief. "It's a message." Harper's heart quickened. "What does it say?" She played the transmission. The voice of the Noctiler leader echoed through the bridge again, but this time, it was different, less of an ancient presence and more of a direct, clear communication. "Humanity," the voice said, "you are not alone in your quest. We have observed many races, but none have risen as quickly as you. You are on the precipice of something great, but there is a trial ahead, one that will determine whether you ascend or fall." The voice paused, as if weighing its next words carefully. "We offer you a choice. Within this message is a set of coordinates to a planet known as Iskar. There, you will find an ancient artifact, one that has been lost for eons. It is not a weapon, but a key to unlocking the full potential of your species. But be warned, others are aware of it, and they will seek to claim it for themselves. You must get there first, or risk the destruction of your future." The transmission ended abruptly, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. "Iskar," Captain Harper repeated, his voice barely above a whisper. He felt a chill run down his spine. A key. To what? And who else knew about this artifact? "We've heard stories," Lieutenant Alvarado said, her tone cautious, "of an ancient race, the Oryxians. Legends speak of them as a race of conquerors, but also as creators. They were said to have left behind artifacts, the keys, that could reshape entire civilizations." Harper turned to her, And the Noctiler think this key could be the key to humanity's future? That's what it sounds like, Alvarado replied. If we get there first, we could unlock the potential to change everything: technology, medicine, energy, even our very understanding of the universe. But if someone else gets their hands on it, it could be the end of humanity as we know it. Harper finished for her, his voice grim. He turned to face the rest of the bridge crew, each of them now standing, waiting for his orders. We don't have much time, he said, the weight of the situation settling in. Prepare the ship for immediate departure. Set course for Iskar. Whatever this artifact is, we can't afford to let anyone else get to it first. This could be humanity's chance to secure its place in the galaxy, on our terms. As the crew began to move into action, Captain Harper stood by the viewport, his mind racing. The Noctiler had given them a gift and a warning. They had shown humanity a glimpse of a future beyond the stars. A future that could be bright or dark, depending on their choices. He thought about the ancient words of the Noctiler. The galaxy is vast, and its dangers are far greater than you can comprehend. There was so much more out there, more than humanity had ever dreamed. But the time had come. Humanity's future was no longer a matter of just surviving. It was about proving themselves, about taking their place among the stars. The trial was upon them, and they would face it head-on. As the Titan surged forward, faster than ever before, heading toward the coordinates, a sense of urgency gripped the crew. The ancient artifact was still an enigma, but there was no doubt in Harper's mind: humanity had been given a chance to rise above, to claim their rightful place in the universe. But what dangers awaited on Iskar? What other forces, alien, ancient, or even human, might stand in their way? And most of all, what was this artifact that could change everything? The stars ahead shimmered with endless possibilities, but the journey into the unknown had only just begun. The trial awaited, and humanity would either rise to the occasion, or face their greatest test yet. Title: Humanity's Titan-class ship encounters aliens for the first time, Part 3. The UES Titan barreled through the void, its hyperdrive engines pulsing as it sped toward the mysterious planet Iskar. The crew had set their course, but an air of uncertainty lingered like a thick fog. They were traveling into uncharted territory, not knowing what they would encounter once they arrived, or who might be waiting for them. Captain Harper paced the bridge, his mind consumed with thoughts of the message from the Noctiler. A key to unlocking humanity's potential. It was a tantalizing offer. But what did it truly mean? What kind of power could one artifact hold? And more importantly, who else was after it? If the Eryxians, the ancient race rumored to possess such artifacts, were real, then the danger was all too real. Captain, Lieutenant Alvarado interrupted his thoughts. We've entered the Iskar system. Scanners are picking up signs of artificial structures on the surface. Looks like the artifact could be buried under a city. Harper's gaze sharpened. We need to be prepared. Scan for any hostile forces. Alvarado's fingers flew over her console. No signs of immediate military presence, but there are large energy signatures, concentrated in one region of the planet. It could be the artifact. Any signs of other ships? Harper asked, his voice tight with tension. Nothing yet. But, sir, there's something else, Alvarado said, hesitating. We're picking up an odd signal, like an old distress beacon. It's coming from the surface, near the energy signatures. It's been there for centuries. Harper turned to her, a sinking feeling in his stomach. A distress signal from who? I'm not sure, sir, Alvarado replied, but it doesn't match anything in the Federation's database. Harper stood still for a moment, weighing the possibilities. They were close now, too close to turn back. The Noctiler's words echoed in his mind. Others are aware of it, and they will seek to claim it for themselves. Whoever or whatever was on Iskar had likely been there for a long time, waiting. We can't risk leaving that distress signal unchecked, Harper finally said. Prepare a landing party. We'll investigate the signal first and assess the situation. Alvarado, keep scanning for any other ships or unexpected threats. Aye, Captain, Alvarado responded, her voice steady but tinged with concern. Moments later, a small team of explorers, Harper included, was suited up and ready to depart. Lieutenant Alvarado remained behind to monitor the Titan's sensors while the landing party prepared to descend to the planet's surface. The planet below was rocky, with sprawling deserts and jagged mountains. But the signal originated from a valley hidden between two massive cliffs, shrouded in a fog of mystery. The Titan's shuttle descended slowly, its engines humming as it approached the coordinates. As the crew made their descent, Harper could see the energy signatures growing stronger, more concentrated. In the valley below, they were getting closer. The shuttle's landing gear touched down with a soft thud, and the crew disembarked. The air was dry and thin, and the scent of ancient stone filled the air as they made their way toward the source of the signal. The landscape was desolate, and it was clear that this planet had been abandoned long ago. By whom, and for what reason, were questions they still didn't have answers to. "Stay sharp, everyone," Harper said as he led the way, his rifle slung across his back. "We don't know who or what else is out here." The distress signal led them to a series of ancient ruins, partially buried beneath the sands. Giant stone pillars lined the entrance to what appeared to be a long-forgotten temple, its walls adorned with carvings that told stories of a long-lost civilization. Some of the markings seemed familiar, like those seen on the Noctiler ship, but twisted and alien in a way that defied logic. "There's something here," Lieutenant Juno, a communications officer, whispered. "These symbols, they look like they were meant to communicate a warning." Harper knelt beside the temple's entrance, studying the symbols. A warning about what? Whatever happened to this civilization? It's clear they knew something was coming. The team proceeded cautiously, entering the temple's shadowy depths. Inside, the air was thick with dust, and the walls seemed to pulse with a strange energy. At the heart of the temple was an enormous chamber, the floor etched with more symbols, and in the center, glowing softly, was the artifact. It was a dark, metallic sphere, about the size of a human head, pulsating with an eerie light. But as they approached the artifact, the ground beneath their feet trembled, and a harsh voice echoed through the chamber, reverberating off the walls. "Leave this place." Harper's eyes narrowed, and the team froze. The voice wasn't from a person, it came from the very structure around them. The temple itself seemed to be alive, its ancient walls speaking in a language neither human nor alien could understand. It was the kind of voice that made the hairs on the back of one's neck stand on end, powerful, ancient, and commanding. "We don't have time for riddles," Harper said, his voice firm. "We're taking this artifact. If you want it, come and stop us." Another tremor shook the ground, and the lights flickered ominously. Then, as if in response, the temple's walls began to shift, revealing massive stone golems, each towering over the crew. They had been dormant for centuries, but now they were waking, their glowing eyes filled with malevolent intent. "We need to get out of here," shouted Lieutenant Juno, raising her weapon. But Harper held up a hand. "We fight to survive. This artifact is humanity's future." The battle erupted in seconds. The golems, made of stone and energy, charged forward, their massive fists swinging with tremendous force. The crew opened fire, their weapons barely making a dent in the golem's stone armor. Harper's thoughts raced as he assessed their situation. There was no time to wait for backup from the Titan. If they didn't secure the artifact and escape now, they would be trapped. "Target their joints," Harper ordered. "Focus fire on their legs and joints. We can't stop them head-on." The team fired in unison, aiming for the gaps in the golem's rocky armor. Sparks flew, and with a powerful strike, one of the golems staggered, its leg giving out. It fell to the ground with a deafening crash. But there were more, 2, 3, 5 more emerging from the walls, each more fearsome than the last. "Captain," Juno yelled, "we've got them on the run. Grab the artifact." Harper turned, his heart pounding, and sprinted toward the glowing sphere at the center of the room. With a final push, he reached out and touched it. The moment his fingers made contact, a surge of energy coursed through his body. The walls of the temple shuddered, and the golems froze in place, their movements halted by the sudden surge of power emanating from the artifact. Harper took the artifact in hand, feeling its weight and its strange, undeniable power. The temple seemed to scream in protest, but he didn't hesitate. "Move out," Harper shouted. "Now." The crew made a hasty retreat, back to the shuttle, with the artifact secured. As they ascended into the air, Harper could see the massive temple begin to collapse in on itself, the golems falling into pieces as if the very foundation of the ancient structure had been shattered. The Titan awaited in orbit, its engines ready for departure. The crew had secured the artifact, but their trials were far from over. As they left Iskar behind, Harper stood by the shuttle's viewport, the artifact glowing softly in his hand. Whatever it was, whatever power it held, it was now in humanity's grasp. The Noctiler's warning echoed in his mind: the galaxy is vast, and its dangers are far greater than you can comprehend. Title: Humanity's Titan-class ship encounters aliens for the first time, Part 4. The UES Titan drifted silently through the depths of space, its crew still reeling from the events on Iskar. The artifact, the glowing sphere that now sat in a secure containment chamber on the ship, was unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. The energy it radiated was unlike anything their scientists could explain, and yet it hummed with an undeniable power, as if it were alive. It was a puzzle, a key to humanity's future, and possibly to a galaxy much larger, and far more dangerous, than anyone had ever imagined. Captain Harper stood on the bridge, his gaze fixed on the stars outside. The last few days had been a whirlwind of activity. The crew had barely escaped the collapsing temple on Iskar, narrowly avoiding the deadly golems that had awakened to protect the artifact. Yet, despite the danger, they had succeeded. Humanity had secured the artifact, and now it was their responsibility to uncover its secrets. "Captain, we've received a transmission," Alvarado said, interrupting his thoughts. "It's from the Noctiler." Harper turned sharply, his attention snapping to his communications officer. "Put it through." A strange hum filled the air as the holographic projection of the Noctiler leader appeared on the screen. Their form was both alien and ancient, a being whose very presence seemed to stretch time and space. The voice that followed was deep and resonant, carrying the weight of eons. "Humanity," the voice began, "you have claimed the artifact. You are the first in many cycles to do so. Understand this: the key you hold is not just a tool, but a test, a trial that will reveal the true nature of your species." Harper's grip on the arm of his chair tightened. "What does that mean?" he asked, his voice steady, though his mind raced with questions. "The artifact you now possess is an ancient creation, crafted long before the rise of even the oldest civilizations," the Noctiler leader continued. "It is a gateway to the knowledge of the Oryxians, a race whose ambition to control the stars led to their downfall. The artifact is a beacon, one that will attract the attention of others, those who wish to possess its power. You must decide whether to use it for your ascension, or to safeguard it from those who would seek to twist its purpose." Harper's mind raced as the Noctiler's words sunk in. This wasn't just a device for humanity's benefit, it was a symbol, a test of their very nature. Were they ready for the responsibility that came with such power? Were they willing to rise above the temptation to use it recklessly? "Why give it to us, then?" Harper asked, his voice filled with suspicion. "What do you want in return?" The Noctiler's hologram seemed to shimmer for a moment. "We do not ask for anything in return, Captain. Our motives are complex. But know this: your actions will have consequences. The Oryxians will not be the only ones drawn to the artifact's power, and others, worse, perhaps, are already on their way. You must choose your path carefully." The transmission flickered, and the figure of the Noctiler leader began to fade. "We will be watching," was the last thing the voice said before the image vanished completely. Harper sat back in his chair, his mind racing. The Noctiler had given them a warning, but also a kind of blessing. They had passed the first test by retrieving the artifact, but the true challenge lay ahead. There were others out there, forces even older and more powerful than the Noctiler, and they were already aware of humanity's actions. The stakes were higher than ever. "Alvarado," Harper said after a long pause, his voice firm, "set course for the nearest research station. We need to understand this artifact before we move forward. Prepare for any incoming ships. We don't know who else is out there or what they want." "Aye, Captain," Alvarado replied. "Course set for Solace Station. We'll have the artifact analyzed and secured there." As the Titan made its way toward the research station, Harper couldn't shake the nagging feeling that they were being watched. The Noctiler had been cryptic, but their message was clear: humanity was being tested, and the consequences of failure could be catastrophic. Hours later, the Titan arrived at Solace Station, a state-of-the-art research facility built to study alien technologies. The station's docking bay opened as the massive ship glided in, its engines humming softly. as the crew disembarked and escorted the artifact into the station's containment facility. The atmosphere grew tense. Scientists and researchers from across the Federation had gathered, eager to study the artifact. But there was also an undercurrent of anxiety. They all knew the risks involved. One misstep, and the consequences could be irreversible. Dr. Elise Trask, the Federation's leading xenoarchaeologist, approached Harper as he stood by the artifact. "Captain," she said, her voice calm but intense, "we're ready to begin the analysis. We've studied alien artifacts before, but nothing like this. It's unlike anything we've encountered." Harper nodded, though his mind was elsewhere. He kept replaying the Noctiler's warning. Others are already on their way. He couldn't shake the feeling that the calm before the storm was only temporary. "Proceed with caution," Harper said. "We can't afford to make any mistakes. If this artifact is truly a key to unlocking the power of the Eryxians, we need to know exactly what it can do and who might be coming for it." Dr. Trask nodded, and with a team of engineers and scientists, they began their work. Hours passed in a blur as they carefully examined the artifact, running countless tests. The energy readings were off the charts, so powerful, in fact, that the station's systems were struggling to contain the fluctuations. Finally, Dr. Trask called Harper over. "Captain, we've managed to unlock a portion of the artifact's data matrix. It's a map, a star map." Harper leaned in, his curiosity piqued. "A map to what?" "To the Eryxians' lost colonies," she said, "and a network of gateways, portals. They were capable of moving entire fleets across vast distances instantaneously. This could change everything we know about space travel." Harper's breath caught in his throat. If the Eryxians had developed such technology, it would be beyond anything humanity had ever dreamed of. It was the key to controlling the stars themselves. But then, a loud alarm blared across the station. "Captain," Alvarado's voice crackled through the comms. "We've got company. 3 ships, large, heavily armed. They're entering the system, and they're not responding to our hails. It's not just a coincidence. They're here for the artifact." Harper's heart sank. It's started. He turned to Dr. Trask. "We're not waiting for them to reach us. Pack up everything you can. We're leaving Solace Station, now." The Titan's engines roared to life as the crew scrambled to their stations. The research facility was the most advanced in the galaxy, but it was vulnerable, surrounded by nothing but empty space. And now, it seemed, humanity's trial was about to begin in earnest. The ships on the scanners loomed closer. Whoever they were, whatever they wanted, humanity would have to fight to protect their future. The artifact was more than just a relic, it was the key to humanity's survival. And the galaxy was watching. To be continued. Title: Humanity's Titan-class ship encounters aliens for the first time, Part 5. The UES Titan roared to life as its engines powered up, the massive warship immediately going into full combat mode. On the bridge, Captain Harper's mind was a whirlwind of calculations and decisions. The ships on their sensors were closing fast, 3 of them, large, menacing, and heavily armed. Their intentions were clear. They weren't here for diplomacy. "Alvarado, confirm the ship's identities," Harper ordered, his voice tight with tension. "We need to know who we're up against." "Aye, Captain," Lieutenant Alvarado responded, her fingers flying over her console. "I'm scanning their signatures. It's no use, they're masking their IDs, but the size and armament suggest they're not your average freighters. They're military-grade vessels, definitely hostile." Harper's heart sank. He had hoped for more time to prepare, to understand the artifact, to uncover its secrets. But now, humanity was thrust into a fight for survival. "Captain," Lieutenant Juno's voice cut through the tension, "the stations are evacuating. We're the last ones here. We can't let those ships get close to Solace Station, it's too vulnerable." Harper didn't need to be told twice. He snapped into action. "Alvarado, open a channel to the incoming ships. Let them know we're not giving up the artifact without a fight." The comms crackled to life, but no reply came, only the hum of static. "They're jamming our signals, Captain," Alvarado reported, her voice urgent. "They want this to be a fight. No words, just action. Then we'll give them one hell of a fight," Harper said, clenching his jaw. He turned to the tactical officer, Lieutenant Kavanaugh. Prepare for engagement. Bring our shields online and charge the forward weapons. We're not going down without a fight. Kavanaugh gave a crisp salute and began issuing orders to the crew. The Titan was a formidable ship, built for deep space exploration and rapid response combat. But this was an entirely different level of danger. Still, it was humanity's best chance. Harper's gaze shifted back to the viewscreen. The three enemy ships were closer now, clearly visible as menacing silhouettes against the stars. They were sleek, dark, and efficient-looking, built for war. They didn't look like anything the Federation had ever encountered before. Alien, unknown, and deadly. Shields at 75%, Kavanaugh reported, his eyes scanning the data as it poured in. Weapons charged. We're ready to engage on your command, Captain. Harper swallowed hard. This wasn't the moment he had imagined, not the moment of first contact that had been discussed in Federation meetings, nor the peaceful negotiations he had hoped for. But this was real. This was the test the Noctiler had warned of. Others are already on their way. He nodded sharply. Engage. Without warning, the Titan's engines roared as it surged forward, the massive vessel aiming straight for the approaching ships. The forward guns charged and discharged, sending high-powered energy blasts toward the nearest enemy vessel. The enemy ships retaliated almost immediately, launching volleys of plasma and guided missiles. The Titan shuddered as the first hit landed, but its shields held steady. Harper could feel the tremor run through the ship, but his resolve did not waver. The artifact was their future, and he would not let anyone take it without a fight. Deploy drones, Harper ordered, his voice commanding. We need to keep them off our hull. Alvarado tapped a few buttons on her console, and soon, a swarm of small, agile combat drones was ejected from the ship, zipping through space like a cloud of angry hornets. The drones harried the enemy ships, distracting them with laser fire and electronic countermeasures. But the enemy vessels weren't intimidated. Their weapons were powerful, their movements tactical and calculated. One of their ships fired a devastating plasma beam that hit one of the drones squarely in the heart, causing it to explode in a brilliant flash of light. Enemy ships are too well coordinated, Kavanaugh said, his voice grim. They're forcing us into a defensive position. If they keep this up, we'll lose our shields in minutes. Harper's mind raced. The Titan's strength lay in its ability to outmaneuver, outsmart, and outlast. It wasn't a traditional warship like those attacking them. He needed to think fast. Alvarado, can you break their jamming? He asked. She nodded, her fingers flying over the console. I'm trying, Captain, but it's not easy. They're blocking all communications, and the signal is too powerful. Harper thought for a moment. We need to disrupt their sensors. They're using advanced cloaking technology to stay hidden, but we can fight back if we jam their systems. Kavanaugh, prepare for a high-intensity EMP pulse. We'll fire it off and knock out their electronics long enough to gain the advantage. Kavanaugh's eyes lit up with realization. Yes, sir, that'll buy us time. Engaging EMP pulse now. Harper turned his attention back to the enemy ships. The Titan had been built for deep space missions, but it was also adaptable. With the right combination of tactics, it could stand toe-to-toe with the best. A few moments later, the Titan unleashed the EMP pulse. The energy wave rippled outward, and for a brief moment, everything went silent. The enemy ships faltered, their movements becoming erratic as their systems struggled to cope with the pulse. This is our chance, Harper shouted. Lock onto the closest ship with the main cannon. Full power to the forward weapons. The Titan's cannons hummed with energy as they powered up, and a massive blast shot toward the nearest enemy vessel. It hit the ship square in its engines, sending it spiraling out of control. The ship exploded in a brilliant flash of light, scattering debris in all directions. Good shot, Kavanaugh yelled. 1 down, 2 to go. But Harper didn't allow himself time to celebrate. The other 2 enemy ships had quickly recovered from the EMP disruption, and they were angrier than ever. They were coming in fast, focusing all their firepower on the Titan's weakened shields. We need more time, Alvarado said, her voice tight. Our shields are failing, and the second wave of missiles is incoming. We can't take another hit like that. Harper's mind raced. They needed to get out of this situation, fast. He glanced over at Dr. Trask, who was monitoring the artifact from the research bay. Trask. Harper called through the comms. Can you stabilize the artifact's energy readings? We might need to use it to power up our systems. Captain, I don't know if that's safe. Dr. Trask replied, a hint of panic in her voice. We don't fully understand the artifact's potential. If we harness its energy, it could destabilize and cause a massive explosion. It could destroy us. Harper didn't have time for doubts. The ship was on the brink of destruction, and their only hope lay in the artifact. Do it anyway. Dr. Trask. We have no choice. Understood, Trask replied, her voice steady despite the urgency. I'll initiate a containment protocol. If it's going to work, we'll need to direct all power to the engines and the weapon systems. As the enemy ships closed in, the Titan began to hum with raw energy. The artifact in its containment chamber glowed brighter than ever before. It pulsed with an intensity that seemed almost alive. Captain, it's working, Dr. Trask reported. The artifact is powering up the ship's systems. We've got full combat readiness in under 5 seconds. Harper took a deep breath. Brace yourselves, he said. We're going to make our stand. With the artifact now fully integrated into the ship's systems, the Titan surged forward, its weaponry and shields replenished. The massive ship turned on its attackers, unleashing a devastating volley of fire that tore through the remaining 2 enemy